like I said, be patient with me because it's kind of hard to see with all this light. I think I'm just going to call on this gentleman because he's easy to see. Right, he's right in front of me. Go ahead.
Jesse Rawls, Senior, Harrisburg.
Everybody's clapping for you.
Because I am Jesse Rawls, Senior. No, I'm a school teacher for the last 30 years.
You must be doing a good job because everybody thinks you're doing it. Everybody give you a big round of applause.
Well, thank you. Well, you have given me the biggest applause. I once was a Republican, now I'm a Democrat.
Amen. Although, can I just, don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to let you know that I'll bet there's some Obama supporting Republicans here. We call them,
There go one standing there.
we call them Obamacans. All right, go ahead. What's
The
the
question
question?
I wanted to ask, I think the most important part is the educational part. And what can we do to get our young men and young ladies in the city to buy into this education? And I think that's the most important part. And I know, I look at your record. You bought into the education system. And what can we do? And I know you talk about no kids left behind and get rid of that, but that's the most important thing that we have here.
Well, look, you're absolutely right. I was born to a teenage mom. And so I was raised by a single mother and my grandparents. They didn't have a lot of money. What they did give me was a good education. That's the only reason I'm standing here today. So I'm testimony to the power of education. But there needs to be a combination of things, I think, to really deal with this education problem in a serious way. First of all, we've got to change attitudes about the kids who aren't learning, because too often we say, those inner city kids, they can't learn. Or those Hispanic kids, well, they're immigrant kids, or poor kids in Appalachia, well, tough luck. We've got to, first of all, have a philosophy that says everybody is our responsibility. Every child is our child. We've got to believe that they can learn. Point number two, as I said, one of the most important things we can do is to give them early learning. And that doesn't just start with pre-kindergarten, although that can be really helpful, but there are programs that have shown if you reach at-risk parents when they're in the hospital with that child, and then you start teaching the parent how to read to their child and how to feed their child properly, give them proper nutrition, all that's really important. Early childhood education programs, that can make a real difference, because the biggest problem we have with a lot of these kids is they're already so far behind by the time they start school. They've got smaller vocabularies. They're not used to being read to. They don't know their numbers. They don't know their letters. They don't know their alphabet. They're not even used to sitting still. And so without that, they fall behind quickly and they never catch up. So that's an important place to start. K through 12, the most important ingredient is the teacher. And so that's why I said we're going to pay our teachers more, but teachers, we will also expect that teachers take advantage of professional development programs and training programs to constantly improve their skills. After-school programs and summer school programs can be very helpful for young people, especially poor and minority kids who may not have anywhere to go after school, and they need a quiet place to do their homework, and they need to have some place so that they don't lose everything that they learned during the summers, because they may not have camp or enrichment activities that other kids have. And we also have to make school relevant. See, not every child is going to go to a 4-year education or a 4-year college. But if we catch a child when they're in 9th grade or 10th grade and we say, you know what, you seem to be good artistically, so here's what it takes to be a graphic designer, and you match them up with it, and you show them a career. Or, they're mechanically, they've got get them in an apprenticeship program even when they're in high school so that they've got a direction, there's a connection between what they're learning and the possibility of making a good living in a job. That's really important. The last thing though, and this is, a hard truth, but it has to be said. And I'll say it for everybody, but I'll say it especially within the African American community. Government can't do everything. And so, we've got to have parents parent. Which means that parents have to take some responsibility. They've got to turn on the television set and put away the video game and go meet the teacher and work with the teacher. And if your child's misbehaving in school, don't cuss out the teacher. Sense of excellence, you've got to instill in them, look, the world's not going to give you anything. So, education's not some passive thing where you just pour it in your ear and you're educated. You've got to want to learn. You've got to want to learn. And all too often, let's face it, in our communities, we're not instilling in our children that hunger to learn. Which is why, you may talk about money all the time and school funding, but the fact is, there are kids in China and India who are in schools that are a lot worse. Bad buildings, bad textbooks, no computers, but they're scoring a lot higher than we are on math because they want to learn. They're hungry. We've got to instill that in our kids. All right. It's a woman's thing. All right, I got to see, find a young lady here.